everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I'm so glad that you did. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get around to filming this, but I had an appointment today and I made it, which was great because I was not feeling well this morning at all. But thankfully my husband was able to do what needed to be done before we left, like iron something for me to wear. He's such a good guy. Well, I just rested and I made it to my appointment, and I made it to the Dollar Tree to pick up what I needed because I am reorganizing my desk because I don't have enough room. And I got some really great things at the Dollar Tree for very, very inexpensive, and I'll start that process soon. So how are you all today? I hope you're well. I did a video yesterday on some sewing tips, and I haven't even looked at it yet. So as you know, I very rarely, I won't look at a video unless I think I've made a really bad mistake. Like I opened a Happy Mail and showed, I was pretty sure I showed the address on the Happy Mail. So I did watch that, and obviously I deleted that video and redid it. But anyway, so yesterday I figured out a way to set up my camera to my sewing machine area, which is behind me, and I was able to do a video on that, and I really hope it was well received. I am doing well. I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and to be honest with you, I'm really nervous about tying in the signatures because the lace is on and I don't have a choice. Because like I said in my video, if you're going to sew anything in your signatures, make sure you do it before you tie in your signatures. And I had promised that I would do the hidden spine signature on camera. I'm pretty sure I have never done this before on camera. I mean, I've done it, but I've just never done it on camera. I don't ever do any other spine, but, you know, something that's tied in, you know, that's sewn in. I've never done a not, you know, something that's not sewn. So I am familiar with that. However, I'm not familiar with the fact that you tie it into something and then glue it in your book. So, if you can remember, or if you've been following me, my original book that I had made out of the cardboard and then the fabric, and then I painted it green, and then I added these images from the kit that I'm working on for my design team project for Rach and Bella Crafts. It's called, what's it called? Beatrix Potter. Oh dear, it's right here. So sorry. Beatrix Potter, where are you? I know I have one sheet with the title on it still. I very rarely get rid of it. But anyway, it's about Beatrix Potter. It's not really about Peter Rabbit. So, you know, I have to admit, anytime you have an idea in your mind and you've designed it, go with it. Don't change your mind. Because I've changed my mind so many times that's really delayed my journal. And it's caused me, like lots of time. I could have had this journal finished a long time ago. And now I have so much ephemera that I've had to cut back on my pages because I won't be able to fit the ephemera that I really, really, really want to include in this. So, if you can remember, the cover was green, and I added this linen paper, and you could really feel the linen cloth underneath it. Well, I didn't like it at all. I mean, every time I looked at it, I put it aside because I just didn't like it. It just wasn't me, and it wasn't coming out in the way that I wanted it to. I wanted it to kind of be more of a, something she would have kept, like Rach on Rach and Bella Crafts. She did it right. she made it into a scrapbook. But I have another idea that I got from Rach tonight when I watched a video of a scrapbook that I will be able to make, if that makes sense. So I'll be making 2 of these. I may be making 3 because I have enough ephemera to make 10. So in any event, what I did was I taped this off, and then I took some peach paint, which is right here, and I went around it and painted it in peach. And then one of the books, it's actually probably my second favorite. Of course, Peter Rabbit has always been my favorite. But I have a book that it's really in bad shape. I've taken it apart, and I've used a lot of it in other projects and in this one. And it's Peter Rabbit and Other Stories. And it's copyright is 1957. I've had it for about 15 years, maybe longer. And so one of the stories in here is one of my favorite, and it's Two Bad Mice. And so I went searching for anything I could on the internet about Two Bad Mice and how it was written, and how she illustrated it. And it's just an amazing, amazing story. She had a dollhouse. Beatrix Potter had a dollhouse, and she had caged a couple of mice, and typical of Beatrix, and it was in 1904. And so she took the dollhouse, which is right here in the middle. See, there's the dollhouse. And she created the story with the 2 mice that she had caged and used this as a prop. And they really didn't think that she should do it or even try to do it because she obviously couldn't get into the dollhouse. But because of her imagination, her incredible illustrations and imagination, she was able to come up with the Two Bad Mice, and it was a hit. So anyway, what I did was I took a napkin back, one of the plies that you get, from your napkin, and then I what I do is I take, either my napkin or my paper that you wrap things in, tissue paper, and I make it longer than the actual 8.5 by 11, and then I tape it along the edge because it's sticking out on this side, and then I flip it over, and then I cut around it. Then I put it in my printer and print what I want, which is what I did here, and in another piece of ephemera that I made. And I tore it all apart, and I decoupaged it all around the edges, as you can see. There's the dollhouse and the little doll. And then after I did that, I wanted to be able to protect it. So I used my mixture of, and I don't know if you've seen this video or not, but I use spray starch and glue. I do not use water and glue because, one, it dries really, really fast, and you don't have to worry about any bubbles or anything with it because there's no water in it. It's just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of school glue, and the rest I just spray starch in it like it was water. I just take the jar over my sink, and I take the can of spray starch and I spray it into the jar and fill it, I cover the bottom with it, and then I just squirt maybe a teaspoon of glue, and it comes out very watery, and it's very flat, and it dries really fast, and you don't get any creases or bubbles or anything like that. So once I did that, and it dried, I peeled the tape off, and it dries really fast. I peeled the tape off, and thank God it came out the way I wanted it to. So, and then of course I added lace, which I try so hard not to do lace in this, but it's full of lace, just so you know. So anyway, I'm going to attempt to do this on video, which I've been procrastinating about for hours and hours because I'm quite frankly a little stressed about it because I've never done it before, and I'm doing it on video for all to see. So wish me luck. I'm just going to have a sip of my water. Thank you. So what do? Anytime I tie in a signature or put in a signature, this is what I'm going to use. Now, this is the linen, and it's that antique linen, and it's very thin. So what I did was I took some of my, this is called a bookbinding cloth, and you can get it on Amazon. You can get it pretty much anywhere. And I always get a roll of it when I need it. I'm almost out, so I'll need another roll. I typically will use this if I'm using fabric, or if I really want my signature to tie in, you know, really good and strong. I will use this and then put my fabric over it and then stitch it with that. Sometimes if I'm using more than two, if I'm using 3 signatures, I will use this as well, just because it's really sturdy and it is for bookbinding. So you know, they put that in here when they bind a book. See, like that. And I've bound many a book, soft cover and hardcover. I have bound using that. And of course I put fabric over it. So anyway, let's get started. So what I did was I took this and I attached it to the linen after much thought, because I knew, well, I was going to double up the linen, and then I thought, no, that's not going to work. I just, stay down. Sorry. Let me just put this back up here so it gets out of the way. Okay, so what I did was I covered my inside already with that same, what I did for the decoupage. I thought that would be appropriate because then you open the book and it's kind of, it matches. And I did overlap this, but I kind of tore it back a little bit because I found it was really, you know, it just wasn't, the book wasn't closing right. I thought if I overlapped it, it would be good, but I just didn't like the way that it was kind of crinkling up. So I tore a lot of the overlap off, which you're not going to see anyway. And I added my lace. I did not sew it. I had to glue it. There's 2 layers. There's this layer, which is antique, and I had just enough of it to do 1 layer. And then this is just a vintage lace that I put on the inside and to use as like little tuck spots. Okay? And to be able to just give a little bit more, you know, on the outside of this. This is very antique. This was my mother-in-law. This I got out of my mother-in-law's stash. So what I decided to do was I sewed the bookbinding cloth to the linen. As you can see, it's so thin, and I just didn't feel like it would be strong enough to hold those signatures. So anytime I make a signature, you know, tie in a signature, what I do first is I take and make a template. So I'll just, you know, I'll put it in the book and see how wide I need the template. I'm only doing 2 signatures, so, and I'm using every page that was in the journal and then a couple of book pages. That's all for my pages because I want to be able to fit all my ephemera. Not all of my ephemera because there's just no way. I've done 34 days so far of Rachel Bella's, Rachel's 100-day project. So, and a couple of Rachel's from Roxy Creations. I've done a couple of her things as well, so I'll be making more. So what I do is I measure it and say, okay, you know, that's how wide that I need it. So then I fold it in half. No, wait a minute. I fold it Wait a minute. Yes, I fold it in half like this. I'm so scared. But I'm going to breathe. I already watched Rach. She did a good job. My husband couldn't stop laughing because he's just can be such a jerk sometimes. Sorry. He's not a jerk. He's a wonderful person, but geez, he was laughing and I'm trying to concentrate. He just loves Rach. So then I fold it in half. Then I fold it to the middle like this. And I do this for every signature that I ever tie in. Unless I'm only doing one signature. Then I don't do this. It's not necessary. But I just thought because I'm doing it this way, now I've got it like this, okay? And now I'm gonna fold it in half because I'm doing two signatures. That's gonna show me where the middle is. Whether you're doing one signature or two signatures, you've got a middle. So now what I'm going to do is, see, I have here, here, and here, and that's where I'm going, or I can, go here. Anyway, that's my middle. So I'm going to mark my middle. So I folded it this way, folded it this way, folded it in half, and just creased it. Okay. Let me just crease that middle one more time so I can see it good. Now I will mark my middle. Where's my pencils? I only have a gazillion. Okay, so then I'm going to mark my middle, which is here. I know that that's the middle, okay? And then I'm going to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 inches. So I'm going to go an inch here. Oops. Ugh. See how nervous I am? I broke my pencil lead. And then I'm going to go an inch here. So now I know that's where I want them. That's where I want my holes, okay? But I'm putting in two signatures. So I'm going to take my ruler. I know you don't have to do it this way. This is just the way I do it on camera because I've never done it on camera before. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'm doing two signatures. So I want to go, let's see. I want to go in 1/2 inch from here. And I want to go in 1/2 inch from here. So my first signature is going to go here and here. This will be my second signature. I'm going to go down here to my middle. And I'm going to go in 1/2 inch. And I'm going to go in 1/2 inch. And that's my middle. Because I'm only going to do 3. I was going to do 4, but I'm doing 3. I've never done 4, so I'd probably get the thread out wrong. So then here's 1/2 inch. And here's 1/2 inch. There's my template. And then I'm going to draw a line just to make sure that I'm on target here. And I'm going to draw a line here. Okay. And now I don't really need this anymore because I don't want to get anybody confused. And I don't need this anymore. I do want to do a top and a bottom. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is fold this back in half. Oops, making sure it's in half. Because I'm going to sit this inside my signature. Okay. So where's my signatures? Oh, here they are. So here's signature number 1. I've already put my paper clips in because I wanted this to be very tight here. So I put a paper clip here. I overdid it with the paper clips, I know, but I just wanted to make sure everything stayed together because I just had a feeling this would be a very big fail. I typically will put one here and one here, but tonight I'm just making sure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the middle and I'm going to move it. I'm going to actually fold this here because this is where my first signature, I need to put in my first signature right along that edge, which I probably should do this way so I can see those little marks that I made. And then I'm going to cheat. I know people do things differently, but I don't know if this is cheating or not. People do everything different. I just don't want to take all night, are we? Goodness, we're already at 21. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to put this on the outside, okay? So I can punch my holes. And I'm going to take this. Now, you can do it this way, which is probably the way I should do it, to punch my holes. I will. I'll do it this way. So I'm going to put that in here like so, okay? And I am going to move my clip just over enough so that it stays in place while I punch my holes. Okay. Now I'm going to take my awl, which is this. You can use any kind of tool that's going to make a hole in your paper. And I am going to simply punch the middle and make sure it comes through the middle there. And then I actually go in. Now Rachel had a great idea. In order to hold it there, she took her needle and she stuck it right there to hold it. That's brilliant. Now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to punch my second hole. And I'm going to go up here. Oh, before you do anything, make sure all of your papers are going in the right direction. Because that's happened before too. I've had to untie it and redo it. And there's my third one. Okay, so now all my holes are in my signature. Now I'm going to remove this, but I'm going to keep this in here for now. I'm removing this. I'm going to take the second one. It doesn't really matter. This is more for this. I'm going to do the same thing here to make sure that everything lines up good. Okay. I'm just going to move this here to hold it. And I am going to do the same thing on this side to hold that in so that I punch my holes. It goes right into there. Okay? So I'm going to punch my middle like so. And then go down to the bottom. And then go up at the top. And now I'm ensured that all of my holes on both of my signatures are going to match up. They should, and they do. Okay? I wish I had to, well, you know what I'll do? I'm going to stick my awl right there. I'm going to take this off, here and here. So I'm taking everything off because now I have to put it on this so I can poke through my fabric. Thank you so much, Rach from Rach and Bella Crafts, for showing me this idea. That is brilliant. So now everything stays together, and I am going to take this and I am going to place it here, and I am going to mark it with my pencil so I can see where I want to put my signatures so that they line up as well. So I use this, I'm going to use it again. And I'm just going to put a pencil mark here. You're not going to see it because it's going to have a hole in it. Here and here. Now I could use this other side, but I kind of made it too wide, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to simply move it a little bit to where I want that second signature to go. I'm actually going to use this. You can do it a couple of ways. You can do it this way, or you can take your signature and you can see where you punched your holes, and you can do this, and you can be like, okay, there's 1, 2, and 3, but I'm going to use this because I already have it done. So I'm going to move it to where I want my signature, which I'll tell you is about 1/4 inch away from to put my second signature in. Yes, well, a little bit less than 1/4 inch. I'm going to go in, okay, this is half, so no, about 1/4. All right, so about 1/4 inch in. Well, this is 1 inch wide. I'm 1/4 inch on this side, so I'm going to go 1/4 inch here because that's the center. If I fold this in half, this is my center. Okay. Okay, so take this back. I'm going to place this here. Go about 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to make a mark here. I hope I'm in frame. Make a mark here. Make a mark here. Make a mark here. Okay? You're not going to see it because your signatures are going to go in there. Can you see those marks? I probably should have done it in pen. I've made those marks just like I did on the paper. I'll make them a little bit darker so that you can see them. Now what I'm going to do is take my signature. Whoops. All right. Enough of the pencil. Okay, so this is my first signature. I'm going to do I'm going to put my second signature in first. I don't know why I do it that way. I just do. So my second signature, I'm going to take my awl, put it through my fabric. Okay. And I am just going to, in order to hold my fabric straight, I'm going to put a paper clip there. Like so. And I'm also going to put a paper clip up on this side to hold it where I want to for my signature to go, to make sure everything goes in right. Okay, so there we go. We've gone through our first one. Now we want to come up here and find this hole, and we're going to go through our fabric without taking all the threads with it. And then we're going to go down here and go through again. Like so. All right. And I'm going to do what Rachel did. I'm going to stick this here for now to hold it. And I'm going to sew in this signature here. Making sure I do it the right way. That's the top. Okay. So, I'm using wax linen thread. I wish I had my lighter shade, but I don't. I always do 3 times the signature. It's okay if it's a little bit long, because you can always trim it off. So I did 3. And I'm sure a lot of you have done this a million times before, but I said I would do it on camera, so I'm sticking to my promise. Now I'm going to take my needle, which I stuck in here, and I am going to replace that with my awl, because I don't want them to move. Rachel, that's brilliant. Please, if you don't visit Rach from Rach and Bella Crafts, you really need to. And her mom, Bella, from Bella's Crafty Studio, also does such a fabulous job explaining things. I want to be them when I grow up. Here's all my paper clips. I'm just going to put those aside so they're not in your way. Okay, so now all I do is I take my thread, I put it through my needle, and I leave about this much. I'm going to go through. Now, if you want your thread to be on the outside, you want to go in through the outside first, but I don't. I want my thread to tie on the inside. So I'm going to go through my first hole, like so. And then what I do, so that I don't pull it all the way through, is I kind of just tuck this underneath the paper clip to hold that. Then I will go up to the top hole, if I can see it. And you can move this out a little bit so you make sure that you get in there correctly, like so. Hope I'm not getting my big thumbs in the way. And excuse any ink on my hands. I had to ink some tape today, and I may not have gotten it all off. So I'm going to go do that. I went up to the top. Now I'm going back down to the bottom. Put it through. I still have my little tail here. And now I'm going to go back to the center hole, like so. But I want to be on the other side of the string, the opposite side, because when I tie it, I want to tie it in so that one piece is on one side and the other string is on the other. Now what you want to do is pull it so that it's, you know, don't pull it too tight. I typically will go this way. Don't pull it too tight, but pull it tight enough so that you know it's going to stay. Let me just take this off because I don't need it anymore. And I want to make sure that that's tight into the fabric, which it seems to be. Oy. Okay, we can breathe on the first one. Everybody, let out a sigh of relief. I may need another drink of water. I may need a glass of wine. I can take that off now as well. So now you've got your string. One's on one side, one's on the other. You're going to pull it taut. And you're going to just tie your knot or your bow or whatever you want to do. I'm going to tie a knot. And I'm going to just go around one more time. And that's it. And then I'll just leave my strings a little bit long till I decide what I'm going to do. If I'm going to put, you know, any beads or anything on that, I'll do that another time. So far we've got in our second signature. I haven't done the first one yet. Okay. And everything looks to be okay. You just want to kind of, I always put a piece of tissue paper or tracing paper or vellum on my first page. But these are the pages from the kit, and some tea stain paper, another page from the kit, a page that I have from a floral book, because Beatrix loved flowers. She actually did a book on fungi. And then some tea stain paper. I have a little paper bag here, which I plan on doing something with. I'll tell you about that later. And then my second signature. And I just kind of fold them back, making sure that everything is nice and snug and nothing's pulling away, and all the pages turn even, you know, nicely. And like I said, I didn't put a lot of pages in here because I have 2 signatures, a small cover. My spine is only 1 inch wide. And yeah, so that's all you do. Everything looks good. Everything's going the right way. Thank you, Lord. And we're done. That's the first one. The first one's done. Now we'll put the second one in. And I'm going to do what Rachel did. And I am going to just find my dots where I put them. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I saw this. It was so weird. And she showed a book that she'll be doing, I think a lap book. And I have the same I have the same book. So I'm really excited because I'll be able to actually follow along with that. So let me just make sure I find my pencil mark. I know you can't see it, but it's there. And I'm going to push through the fabric like so. And I'm going to take my needle. What did I do with my needle? Take that off. Here it is. I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to put it in like Rachel did. Thanks so much, Rachel. And then take this, find my dot, because I want everything to align properly. Wish I had another needle. I know, duh. My paper clip. These come in very handy. I'll put another one at the top just so that I can make sure everything stays together. And then so there's my first hole. Here is my second hole. And there's the middle. Wrong signature. And my third hole. Whew. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there for a minute. I'm going to take some more wax thread. This is too short, but I'm not going to throw it away. Let's put it to the side. And again, I'm going to do 3. 1, 2, 3, and snip. My needle. I don't need this anymore. And I've used ribbon for signatures. I've used all kinds of things to tie in signatures. You don't need to use wax thread. I just decided it would likely be the best for this because it's nice and sturdy. I know it's not going to go anywhere. So middle. need to leave it. Oh, let me just make sure this is going the right way. Make sure it's not upside down. No, it's not. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. So, back up to the top. I'm going to pull this down and just clean that there. And I'm going to go back through here, if I can find where my hole is. I'm actually going to kind of peek through there, find it, make sure it. Take that off. I just feel like it's in the way. Sorry. Okay, I did it. Top, then all the way down to the bottom. Flip it if you have to. Go through here, find my little dot. And just there. I'm sorry I'm taking so long, but like I said, I'm barely breathing. I'm sorry for not talking. I have to concentrate. And back through the middle. On the opposite side of that string, which really doesn't matter if you get on the opposite side because you can always put it on the opposite side. Just want to make sure I get through the right hole. The struggle is real, people. And then just make sure it's on the opposite side. It's not that hard. It really isn't. Doing it on camera is not as easy as you think. People seem to have an okay with it, but not I, not I. I can't cut a straight line on camera. Remember, I was never supposed to do this. It was an encouragement. It was a challenge from a good friend. She said I could do it. She was right. I love it. I absolutely love it when I get a chance to do it. All right, so I'm going to pull that so it's nice and snug. I'm going to put my needle back in here because I don't want to lose it because it's my favorite. I'm just going to tie this, making sure that both signatures are even, which they seem to be, top and bottom. Find my middle. Oh guys, you're gonna love this kit. I highly recommend it. It's just amazing. An amazing, amazing kit. You know, Beatrix Potter is just historic. I mean, she's a classic. I'll leave all of the information below for Rachel's channel and for the design team members on. Well, I might not be able to leave all the design team members on, but I know that Rachel has a video with all the design team members. YouTube addresses and stuff like that. So definitely check out the other ones, because I'll tell you what, they are fabulous. Fabulous ideas. They're very creative. I love their work, their inspiration. Everything about them is fabulous. Well, pretty much everybody's great. So I think I'm tight enough. I'm going to tie one more knot just to be safe. And then, like I said, I'm just going to leave these long until I decide what I'm going to do with them. Whew. Okay, so now what do we do? I don't know. Yes, I do. Okay, so everything's in my fabric. Now I'm going to take this. I do not have PVA glue because I forgot to stop at Ace. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac, which I don't particularly like because it hurts my hands, but that's what I'm going to use because I know it stays. So all I'm going to do now is, this is going to be my first signature, my second signature. I'm going to glue this onto my spine. That's all I'm going to do. And make sure it's not puckered at all. I think I might have tied that tight, a little bit too tight, but that's okay. All right, so now I'm just going to take some Fabri-Tac, and I am going to go along my spine here with my Fabri-Tac. If it comes out of the bottle, because I don't use it all the time. Yes, I do. And I'm going to do a generous amount. You're not going to see it. But I'm going to go all along my spine, like so. With a generous amount, like I said, because I am using, you know, I've got 2 signatures, and I've got the fabric, and I've got tons of ephemera, and so much more to go into this, and I just want it to be strong and want it to last forever. So have I been in frame? Good, okay. Okay, breathe, 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 breathe. Put that back on there. And get something to scrape this with. So I'm just gonna move my glue, make sure it's all there and even. And I'm also gonna put some glue here too for my other fabric, but I don't want to put too much there because it's the linen. But I can do that after I get this glued in. Now what I'm going to do is put this aside and clean it in a minute. I'm going to take my 2 signatures. I'm going to take this fabric here, and I am going to simply place it in the middle, like this. And like this. And now I have a hidden spine. I haven't gone through the book at all, so you won't see the threads on the outside of the book. So now what I'm going to do is take some clips, and these are just quilt clips if you're looking for them. Oh, I have something to show you. I'll show you in a minute. Don't tell me. Okay. Rachel from Roxy Creations has a stapleless stapler, and I found one on Temu. So if any of you are looking, go to Temu, type in stapleless stapler, and you will find one. And I am so happy I found it. I like it a lot, and it's fun, and it's tiny, and you don't need staples. So now all I'm doing is I'm pressing this down firmly into that glue, and I'm just taking one of my quilt clips here, and you can use a paper clip or what, you know, any kind of clip to hold that in. You know, you could use something like this, you know? You don't need the quilt clips. I'm just using them because I have them. And then I'm going to press that down firmly, making sure that that's into my spine good. I'm going to close it up, make sure everything is even Steven. And I am going to simply press that in more. And you can use even wider fabric. I mean, you know, I just didn't want to cover up a lot of the inside. But I'm going to put another clip here to hold that in place. And then I'm going to come around here. Again, I'm pushing into my spine here where the glue is. Because I can glue this extra fabric afterwards. Is what I'm thinking, because like I said, this is my first time. Oh Lord. And I'm doing it on camera. I don't even drink wine and I want one. I hear it works. I'm not so sure about heated rose, if you're watching. I forgot to ask John. Okay, so I know that that's in there. I'm going to press it just a little bit to make sure. I'm going to go to the center of where they both are. Just going to make sure that that is laying flat in there, which it doesn't seem to be, so I'm going to move these. Let's stretch this out a little bit. Because I do want that flat. I don't want it puckered out like that. So I'm just going to flatten that out by bringing this way. And the other side. This is the scariest thing I've ever done. Including skydiving when I was in high school. That wasn't scary at all. Taking my SATs was scary. I don't know why. I'm a terrible tester. So that is nice and flat. So when I do go to turn my signatures, my first, second signature, my second signature, I probably could have gotten 3 signatures in there, but I was too nervous. Maybe I will put a 3rd signature in there, who knows. But for now, it's going to be 2. And like I said, I'm going to glue this down. And I'm going to glue the other side down once I know that that's down good and tight and dry. These clips are so handy for everything. I use them for everything. Because sometimes you just don't, you know, a paper clip won't reach or what have you. I'm just pulling this again to make sure that it's into that spine good. And this linen is really stretchy, so I probably shouldn't have used it. It's very old. I'm glad now that I did put that book binding on the back of it. Otherwise, there's no way it would have stretched all the way to here. Okay. I think that's good. I don't think I need to pull it anymore. I'm going to pull it out. So that's it. I'm going to just let that dry thoroughly. Like probably I don't have to do it overnight, but you know, better safe than sorry. But I'm just gonna let that sit overnight while it dries. But everything's still nice and even. My top is even. My bottom is even. My fabric is in there, which I may cut this down a little bit, probably not. I'm just gonna glue that flat down here because it looks pretty. Now usually what you do is you'll glue this down and you'll put your paper over it. So I may put something over that. I don't know, it depends on how it looks. Maybe lace, probably lace. I'll probably glue some lace down there. But I am going to let that sit and just let it dry and not fool with it, okay? So that's it. Whew. Here is my stapleless stapler for those of you who stuck by me and helped me along with that. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you all. And my stapleless stapler is where? Oh, it comes in this little box. It was $6 on Temu. And it's right here. It's in the palm of my hand. And it does. It's a stapleless stapler. It staples papers together without a stapler. And mine held really well. I don't have the piece of ephemera. Well, I might have it right here that I used it for. This is only half of the ephemera that I have for this particular journal. Only half. Look at it all. It's only half. It's not even half. It's like a third. And I still have more pages in here to add to my white pages. Yeah. We're on day 35, by the way. Let me see if I have that little item here close by that I made. Using the stapleless stapler like Rachel on Roxy Creations used, but I won't keep you. I don't have it right here. I don't think. Yes, I do. Right here. And you know what? I just remembered you probably can't see the staples because I think I decoupaged, I collaged over them. I did. There's obviously one here, one here, one here, and one here, but I collaged over those little spots. But yeah, and I've been making these little pockets, these little Peter Rabbit, from one of my Peter Rabbit books. So I've been making those little things. I still have to work on those. And yeah, so that was, I forget what day Rach from Rach and Bella Crafts did those, and Rachel from Roxy Creations did them on the weekly challenge. So yeah. But I don't have to miss a thing because Rach has been very good in following that as well. And that's what I made with my stapleless stapler. I love it. So Temu, it was $6, I think, and well worth it. Where'd it go? It's so tiny, I have to be very careful not to lose it. Here it is. Look at how tiny that is. It's my hand. So anyway, I really, really hope that I was helpful. I know you probably were very pained going through that, but I so appreciate you. I love you all. I have some things that I'm going to still put on the front of this, which you will see in an upcoming video. I have some things that I'm adding to the cover. I did figure out a closure because I know that it's going to get puffy, and I don't want it to be gator mouthed. It's gator mouthed right now because I've got clips on it holding that fabric down. But until I see you again, be well, be safe, and God bless. I love y'all. Bye-bye.